Are you looking for hot takes and guests yelling over top of each other? Well, you came to the wrong place. This is the final word, where we talks about sports like they used to. All opinions are welcome, but that doesn't mean you are right. Hosted by Greg Rector. Welcome in.
Hey everybody, this is Greg Rector, otherwise known as Greg Cowboys at Team MBS Media's draft analyst, and I have beside me here Joe Cardoso, the owner of Team MBS Media. This is not going to be a 2-hour tirade of me trying to teach Joe about football teams, about the hockey, none of that. No, Joe, we're going to talk about Bosch.
All right.
There he is. Titus Bosch. When did you first start watching this show?
It's funny, pandemic, and it was already a couple of seasons in. It was it was the one and only time that I know of that I caught COVID, and I was like, "You're stuck at home for 7 days." I was asking people on Facebook, all social media platforms, what should I watch? And my youngest sister suggested I get on Amazon Prime Video and watch this show called Bosch. You're a couple seasons behind, and I tell you, Greg, those 9 days or whatever the rules were back there of isolation flew by. I really, really dove head first. I mean, we're talking, I was going to bed at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning because I was just going episode after episode after episode. I was all in.
And we were doing that at the same time, even though I did not have COVID.
Yeah.
I was, remember the DM room when you were asking people, right? And I believe it was this guy here. Where is he? Oh, here he is.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Mark Wilson met him.
Mark Wilson was the guy who got us both into Bosch, and there he is with Titus Welliver outside of LaGuardia, because Mark works there and all that good sort of stuff. And of course, when Mark sent that to me, I said, "But you didn't get him on video saying to say hi to me." But okay, you know.
Yeah.
But Bosch season 1. Was just outstanding, right?
Yeah, I mean, they just dive right into it. It's the whole series, and then we'll get deeper into it. But to me, it was just good versus evil. Bosch trying to stray the line of being the straight-laced detective and not breaking the rules, but at the same time, justice needed to be done. And I mean, one of the common themes through all the different seasons is if one person doesn't matter, nobody matters, is the way I would take Bosch. And I think I read that somewhere. And that's kind of the way that he approached all those cases. No guy was too small. No case was too small for him to try to find out what's going on and seek justice. And of course, he had his own personal struggles along the way as well.
Exactly, right? Because Bosch was a former U.S. Army guy. He was Special Forces in the U.S. Army. So I kind of relate to him, of course, being a former MARSOC member myself in the Marine Corps. Okay, now you got me. Harry Bosch. I understand where this guy's coming from, right?
Yeah.
And Bosch's first relationship that we see him with is with his partner.
Yeah, Jerry Edgar.
Jerry Edgar, right?
Or J. Edgar, as he called him.
J. Edgar, yeah. Who, I mean, he was just outstanding in the whole series, right?
Yeah.
But the relationship you see between those two guys is much like a sniper and his scout.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. Oh, look at you, man.
It is, because Jerry always had Titus Bosch's back.
Yep.
Right? And you knew that Bosch was going to be the guy that was going to get the criminal, right? But
he always brought him back from the edge of crossing that line or breaking that rule. Jay Edgar was always there. Yep. Right.
And even in that first case where we see him going to the civil court and they rule against him for a whole dollar, it was J. Edgar's testimony that he felt was real bad, and Bosch was saying, no, it's not. It's not, right? But that relationship was a beautiful thing to see. But the guy that just drove me off the deep end was Jason Gedrick. Who I can't watch anything else that man does anymore.
Yeah.
Because he was such a sick SOB of a killer.
Yeah, he was. No. And also that was part of the allure and drew you in. Like I said, we're talking 1 o'clock, 2:00 in the morning. I was I was rolling through it, man. It didn't matter.
Yeah, we had what, 5 seasons to catch up on?
Yeah, for sure. And it didn't take a long time at all.
No. And again, because of course in 2015, I mean, we're both busy working and doing what we were doing and all this other sort of stuff. But again, when the lockdown happened, what did we all do? We wanted to watch something, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
great choice.
And when he first runs into Honey Money Chandler in that courtroom, and remember when she sees him outside that courtroom?
Yeah, you could already sense the tension. Like they knew each other, but it was at that point in the series, it was not a friendship level at all.
No, and
he was the money hungry lawyer.
And Honey Chandler's going to him, "You'll step on your dick again."
Yeah,
you know, and she was just bang on that part. But again, Honey Chandler was basically the first role I've ever seen Mimi Rogers in that I enjoyed seeing Mimi Rogers play.
I had to look up who she was. I saw the name in the credits, and I was like, I've heard that name before, but I was like, I've never watched anything she's done before. But again, another character that was outstanding, a role that was played by an outstanding actress, Mimi Rogers. And then I know we'll get into it as well, but still, one of my favorite character arcs in this series was her. To go from where she was season 1 to where she ended up on Legacy came a long way.
Yeah. And of course, you remember the article I wrote after their season 2 where I said the women saved that series, that season.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that one. They definitely did. And you see his daughter actually mature as well.
Yeah. Although his daughter asked, well, we'll go into that later on because that goes into the legacy part of this. But I really want to honor 2 people here who are no longer with us here. Harry gets into a relationship with the lady here who is Annie Wershing.
Yeah. Great actress.
Annie Wershing, of course, is also a part of Star Trek. She was in Picard, and she played the Borg Queen in Picard, and she was masterful at it. But I know you don't watch Star Trek.
I knew you were going to find a way to get that in there, so I'm not surprised. It took 7 minutes into the show. I'm impressed with your restraint.
My restraint, exactly. But Annie Wershing passed away from breast cancer.
Yeah.
And of course, the other gentleman that we're going to discuss first and foremost here, Lance Reddick.
Man, talk about a powerhouse.
Man,
every role he played.
Every role he ever played, from The Wire on through.
John Wick, everything.
And yes, he was a former resident of Baltimore, Maryland. That's where the man was born in.
Yes, sir. Correct.
And I met Lance Reddick a couple of times.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, out in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And every time I saw that guy, he was always happy and smiling. Always. And to see the way that he was as Chief Irving, he's this straight-laced. And I mean, you are not going to mess with the chief. You are not going to mess with that man. But he was such a nice man off the screen. And when he passed away in 2023, his family asked for donations to Mom's Care. They got $12,000 the first day that he passed away.
Man, that's awesome.
That's for underserved mothers whose kids are in neonatal care, right?
Yep.
So, that, and I gave immediately, like, okay, as soon as I saw that was the family request, boom, right? And again, he was so close to my age.
Yeah, that always gets so much closer. When somebody who passed away is close to your age, it definitely makes you. There's been a couple lately that I've been like, whoa, let me make a doctor's appointment, or maybe no salt on top of this food, or maybe no sugar in this cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Sure.
And when you heard what killed him was his heart, and you're going, huh?
Yeah.
Did you not see him in that gym?
Yeah.
Holy
all the time.
Right. And it was just bang, to lose somebody of that importance and that stature was just so devastating, just absolutely devastating. And of course, like I said, I mean, when that request came out to give it to Mom's Care, bang, off went my money, just like that.
Yeah, there's another show he did. I'm trying to rack my brain, remember the name. It was on Fox, and I liked it a lot. It was a sci-fi show where he was the director of the special unit that was investigating stuff that was abnormal. It was almost like an updated version of the X-Files. Had about maybe 4 or 5 seasons on Fox. I used to watch it all the time. I know my friends are going to kill me for not remembering the name, but he was the guy who ran the whole division, and again, owned the role, commanded the role, just a big presence on the screen for sure.
So he played
I'm trying so hard to remember the name of the show.
Yeah.
I see all the characters. Walter Bishop.
Walter
his son
Bishop
was Peter Bishop.
yeah.
Yep.
But because of that role, there's the Saturn Awards, which is something that probably you don't follow very much because you're not much into the sci-fi world, but they are awards given out to the fine actors and all that good sort of stuff in the sci-fi world.
Okay.
And Lance Riddick was honored by that particular part. And they gave the first award out to Keanu Reeves.
Okay, makes sense. He's definitely done a lot for the sci-fi fans and for that genre. Absolutely, that makes sense.
John Wick, right?
Yeah.
You know, but again, I was just so devastated when Lance Reddick passed away. I really was.
Yeah, that one hit close to home for sure. That wasn't one of those ones you scroll and go, "Oh, well, sorry to hear that," and keep it moving. You took a moment or moments.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Like I went to my doctor immediately because no way, no, you know. But again, that relationship that he also has with Bosch, it's funny because whenever you got a phone call, Bosch.
Yep. It's so serious.
Yeah.
Harry Bosch. I didn't see you right now, Harry Bosch. Full name all the time.
But when he gets the phone calls that Bosch has done something, remember the night that he kills the 3 guys that come to his house?
Yeah.
Bosch.
Yeah.
It's just like unbelievable, right? Now, of course,
of his time for sure.
Now, of course, Harry Bosch kills more people than you could shake a stick out on the program. And again, that was something that I found rather humorous. But let's go to season 2, because season 2 saw them go to Jerry Ryan. And no, you perverts, I'm not showing her in her full bikini.
I think we just lost 5 viewers when you said that.
Yeah, we lost 5 viewers, right?
That's fine.
But again, Jerry Ryan, of course, comes on, and she's the Hollywood sex symbol and all that other fun sort of stuff.
I remember her from Star Trek.
Yes, Voyager.
See,
she was from Voyager, right? And she had the real Star Trek bra, which made her breast look even bigger and all that jazz. Yeah.
We just gained 2 followers. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good hosting. Literally, the numbers jumped. Good hosting.
Good hosting. There we go. But again, she's evil. She is pure evil, and she took this role because it allowed her to be an evil woman. She wanted it. Yeah,
because in this one, if I'm right, it's a long time ago. Husband died.
Yeah.
So she ended up taking over the empire, and it became, did the husband, who was the killer? Well, it can't be her. It can't be her. And then, of course, we went on that journey along with some other stuff that was happening on that season. You also started to see, also with that, Irvin's character, Lance Riddick's character, starts to get into the political side as well in that season. You start to see him get approached as possibly getting involved in politics and being somebody.
And becoming the new chief instead of the guy that was there from Philadelphia, who had been the chief and all that other jazz.
And walking that fine line.
Yeah, right. Which, of course, causes trouble later on.
Mm-hmm, correct.
Right. So, again, these things all matter. If you jump in on season 6 or 7, you miss out on all that backstory.
Yeah, and, for sure.
You know, it just doesn't make any sense, right?
No, it doesn't.
But again, Jerry Ryan played an evil lady, and of course, she ends up being represented by Honey Chandler.
Of course.
Honey Chandler yet again, right? And of course, she causes nightmares for Harry Bosch. And that whole relationship is so funny to me.
It is. Because I think that season 2, I think you start to see in this season we're talking about right now, you start to see little cracks in her hard ass armor of being all about the money and how can I get my client to win. You see little cracks, not a lot, but a little bit.
No, exactly right. But again, season 2 is when we find out that Harry was in the United States Army Special Forces.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing turned off a whole bunch of people that I knew.
Really?
Yeah. And I said, well, why does that bother you? And they said, well, it just made me think of this guy is a killer. Yeah, but not everyone who served in the military and went to Iraq and Afghanistan are killers on the street. Harry has a particular job where sometimes you run into the bad people who need to be killed. That's it. That's the bottom line.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Right. But again, this is where I'm going to talk about Maddie. She asked her dad in Legacy season 2 there, how many men have you killed? You do not ask any of us how many people we kill. Just don't do that.
Yeah.
And Harry shut her down in a hurry, right?
Yeah.
You just don't do that.
And for so many different reasons too, because that can be a big PTSD trigger, and it's also, no offense, none of your business. You weren't there.
No, exactly, right.
I wasn't with you shoulder to shoulder in the foxhole. I wasn't
like my dad served for 31 years in the Canadian military. I served 15 in the USMC. My dad never asked me how many people I killed. Bottom line.
Yeah. You would think that's common sense, but common sense ain't so common. So
it really isn't. It really isn't. And he had to tell people in his family, my family, do not ask Greg about that. No, just don't ask him because he's not going to tell you. Bottom line. And again, there's Julio there. She wasn't acting. She was either.
I want to go back and rewatch that season, man. I forgot. It's been COVID was 5 years ago, so I could probably start the whole series over again.
Well, there's 98 episodes of Bosch and then the 30 episodes of Legacy. So you got 98 episodes.
Oh, I don't think I could do Legacy. That's still fresh in my mind. But the first season, second season, the original Bosch, it'd probably be some moments where I'd be like, oh, yeah, that did happen.
Well, I had to go back and review season 4. The rest of the seasons all came to my head, but season 4 didn't. And what? Oh, okay. So, yeah, I watched season 4. So then, of course, you also had his ex-wife shows up in season 2 as well.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And again, that falls into this whole thing about her being a former FBI profiler and how she was screwed out of that position and all that. This is one thing I really enjoyed about Bosch was the way that he fought for the women.
Yeah, he definitely did have them front and center. That's a good point. Every season.
They
weren't afterthoughts for sure. That's not something you see a lot in TV.
Whether it was about his own daughter Maddie, whether it was his ex-wife, he always put the women in front. And even the Amy Aquino's character, the Lieutenant Billets, he goes to bat for her in a heartbeat. She was good because they were giving her a hard time on the show, that character, all the time. And he was the first person to defend her and say, you guys need to respect the rank. No, for sure. Yeah. And his wife, the actress that plays his wife on Bosch, I knew from 24. On 24, she was a character named Nina Myers. So as soon as I saw her immediately, I was like, oh man, she's gonna kill it. Oh, okay. Let's go back to season 1. Remember the mother of the kid who died?
Yeah.
That's Mary. Her name is Mary Beth Keller. And she was famous in our household because my mother watched Another World daily. I mean daily.
Oh, okay.
So she was a character on Another World. And do you know who Thomas Ian Griffith is?
Does not ring a bell. What has he played in?
He's the Terry Silver bad guy in the show that I have on my screen there Cobra Kai.
Okay. I know Terry Silver is. That name rings a bell
Yeah.
easily.
Okay. So, and then I find out that Thomas Ian Griffith and Mary Page Keller have been married since 1991, and they've actually been pretty much living together since 1983 when they first started on Another World together. And I'm just like, really? Because
Wow.
she was a gorgeous young lady. And Terry Silver, I'm sorry, I just didn't like the guy. I never have liked the guy. But hey, if they're happy, right?
Yeah,
What can you do? You know, it just boggles your mind sometimes how these people end up with one another and all that other jazz. But yeah, she played the mother of the young kid who was killed, and that I mean, even that scene where Harry Bosch gives her those cards.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Right?
Yep.
And she says, "I'll look after those kids," because, of course, the one guy committed suicide and all that,
yeah.
right? But again, he puts the ladies out front.
Yeah, I think that was done purposely. I mean, obviously, for those who don't know, the series Bosch is based off a series of books. So kudos to the author, because they just took what the author's words were in the book, put it to screen, and more times than not, when that happens, the message is colluded. It changes something totally different.
Right.
Somebody who's talked to a couple people who have read these books, they stay pretty true to what the book's versions are on the show, which is awesome.
Well, Michael Connolly, who wrote the books,
executive producer,
and he also has the show on Netflix, The Lincoln Lawyer.
Yep, another great show.
And The Lincoln Lawyer, of course, Mickey and Harry Bosch are related to one another. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but you don't get to see them together because Amazon Prime has Harry Bosch, Netflix has Mickey Haller.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. So there's a small world in relation to the books.
That's very cool, actually. I wish they could make that happen, but I'm sure they weren't too much legal mumbo jumbo and red tape to make that happen. But that'd be cool if they could.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, of course, Mickey Haller is another great character on TV.
Another COVID watch. Continued on.
Yeah, but it's going to start soon. I think it comes out in August. The new season of Lincoln Lawyer, season 3.
Because we'll get to it later, but there's another member of the Bosch universe that comes out really soon, July 9th.
Who's that?
Ballard.
Oh, Maggie Q.
Yep. That's going to be July 9th on Prime Video as well. I'm already going to be locked in on that one because I have a feeling it's going to be just as good, if not better. And to your point, another woman taking the lead role.
Yeah. You know, and that's always a good thing to see as far as I'm concerned. Because, again, the ladies may not be the finest looking ladies on the face of God's green earth, except for Jerry Ryan.
Okay. Now we got that established.
You know, well, of course, I mean, that was the reason why she was brought on as well. I mean, she's a stunning woman.
Yeah.
You know, but again, they deserve that spotlight.
They deserve it. I'm all about diversity. Like, it was funny. I was having this conversation, not to take the show too far left. I was talking to somebody at work the other day how I'm at the point now, obviously I'm older too, when I'm watching television shows, I expect different people, black, white, Asian. It doesn't bother me. Like, I don't look at a character and say, oh man, that should have been played by a brother, or this should have a blonde white lady playing this role. If you kill the role, you kill the role. Like, I mean, super different than Bosch, but I think about, I'm a big Batman fan, in case you didn't know, as you can tell by my Batman mug. And Prime Video did a series, a Batman series, and they changed everything about the characters. They made Commissioner Gordon a black guy. His daughter is a lesbian.
That's cool.
They made the Penguin a woman, but awesome series. I think it was 10, maybe 12 episodes.
I think it was 10. Wasn't it 10?
Gave me great feelings of the Batman anime series days when I used to watch it after high school. I loved it. I can't wait for season 2. You look at the reviews. Oh, this is horrible. The Penguin's supposed to be a fat white guy. Commissioner Gordon's not black. I'm not lying, Greg. Didn't even think about that. When I was watching it, all I thought about was, is the writing good? Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Watching it, I didn't think about how dare you make
exactly.
Gordon a lesbian.
Exactly.
I don't care.
You know, I mean, that's and like I was on with Thomas that one day, and Thomas was telling people, you know, Greg might cheer for the Cowboys, but we see the world the same way and all this other jazz, right? I mean, you cheer, of course, for the Washington. I can't remember their
It's
names.
Commanders. Let's move on.
Oh, okay. But again, I don't care. I don't care about that. I care about having the relationship that you and I have, that Thomas and I have, that Monty and I have, that Rudy Reyes and I have, right? That's all that matters in this world. It's you know.
When it comes to television, it's all about for me in TV shows, is the story captivating, number one, is the writing good, number two, and is the person that's playing the role really good at the role or not? If you check all those three boxes, I'm not going to watch. Like if they brought back 24, one of my favorite shows of all time, and they said Jack Bauer is now paid by an Asian woman. Okay, I don't care. Is she good at the role? Is the writing good? And is the story captivating me? I'm not going to be like, man, Jack should be a white guy. This isn't the same.
All right, now see there, I disagree with you because Kiefer Sutherland, being a Canadian, come on now. I used to laugh in the early 2000s because the top two shows on TV were 24.
Yep.
And Jag.
Never seen an episode of Jag. I've heard of it before. 24 is my top 5 all time.
But both of the actors were both Canadians. They're
my friend group and I, we do this thing. We'll wait 2, sometimes 3 years because it's been so long, and we'll start episode 1, season 1 of 24, and we go till we can't go anymore. Some of us do 3 seasons. My one friend goes all the way to season 6, and we'll just wait a couple years and we'll do it again. We love that show, man. That show was
it was great, and it was well written.
Yep, exactly.
That's the key thing here. And when you want to go back into Batman, you go back to the 60s and you go see Lee Merriweather playing Catwoman, but then you had Eartha Kitt.
Yeah.
And Eartha Kitt was not allowed to be kissed anymore by Batman.
Yeah. Well, a black woman? Of course not. How dare you?
No. Well, again, that's where Mr. Shatner and Star Trek. Oh yeah? Lieutenant Uhura. Boom.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that story, and I was super small.
Well, you weren't even born. I
said, I heard about the story when I was small, but I've just never been a Star Trek guy. But sorry, like I said, I didn't want to take the show too far left. I just wanted to bring up that point. You're talking about how Bosch always makes the female characters leads front and center. I know for me, I appreciate that. And like I said, watching as many programs as I do, it doesn't bother me anymore. Like I expect diversity. I'm almost shocked. I'm almost to the point now where I'm shocked that there isn't. If the cast is all black, there's not a white person, there's not a Spanish person, I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting. I like a little bit of diversity in my shows.
Well, it's like the music that we all like to listen to and stuff like that. And I've had people say, why do you like Missy Elliott so much? Whoa, what's not to like about Missy Elliott?
Yeah, true story.
You know? Or because I listened to Gloria Trevi or Faye or Talia, the artist from Mexico that I like. And I get people going, well, they're not singing in English. So what?
So what, dude?
Their talent it speaks volumes.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know,
you got or you don't.
Yeah, like when I wrote that article for Pride this month about the rock and roll artists, right?
Yeah.
Joan Jett. Okay, she could be a bisexual. She could be whatever she wants to be. She's never admitted anybody to any having any relationship, except of course when Lita Ford said that she was sleeping with Jerry Curry. So okay, whatever. That stuff doesn't bother me.
Yeah, me either. I can care. People are people. But let's get back on the map of Bosch. Sorry, I took us on a hill, up a hill, down left. My bad.
Not a problem. Okay, so of course Bosch also in season 2. He put his captain through a window. Do you remember when he put his captain through the window?
I do remember that. I thought that was going to be the end of it. Suspension. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was going to be more than suspension.
Well, he obviously did get a little suspension. But of course, the captain gets moved on and everything else is all right there. But of course, that just rang true for me because there's many guys that I would like to have put through a window as well.
I think we all have our list.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, the homeless veteran Billy Meadows gets killed in season 3.
Yes, which also hits home close to Bosch for obvious reasons with the character.
Bingo, right?
Yep.
And of course, the young kid that he speaks to about this case ends up being murdered by these other ex special forces guys.
Yeah.
And those characters that Bosch goes up against in that season was very, very tough to watch. That was tough.
Yeah, it was for sure. Especially, I'm assuming people that served before too. I'm sure that was not an easy watch.
No,
but not even
no.
just served. People that are police officers. I'm sure that was not an easy watch.
No, exactly. And again, like especially now today, because we see these ICE agents wearing these masks and all this other crap out there. I'm sorry, guys. No. And thank you for the ruling in the courts that California has that they can no longer wear those masks. You want to identify yourself as a cop, you don't need a damn mask to do that. There's no room for that in my world.
Yeah, amen to that.
Bosch ends up having Maddie come and live with him because, of course, what's going on with his ex-wife and her current husband and all that other jazz.
Yeah. You can see the growth of that begins. You get an inside look and get to see the beginning of the growth of that relationship between the two of them.
Yeah.
I think is that the season we're introduced to Coltrane?
Yeah. No, Coltrane comes in season 4.
Okay.
Yeah. The dog comes in season 4. But again, the types of cases that you're seeing now on Bosch in season 3 there, you also saw that Ed Gunn character get murdered, and Ed Gunn was a guy that Bosch had been following around, and he had the camera set up and all that other jazz, right? That's some deep shit. I mean, some deep stuff.
But it's part of what makes the show awesome, because in this season, there's like 5 storylines going on. But in my opinion, they do a great job of balancing all of them. Like every time I said, I wonder what's going on, blah, 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 the next scene would be that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And they'd go away from it for a few minutes and focus back on something else. And that's just, man, great writing, man. Great writing.
Oh, it was absolutely tremendous writing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we hit season 4, and Howard Elias is the lawyer, played by C. Clark Johnson, a guy I'm sorry I just never liked, because he started up here in Canada first, okay? And he was on a TV show up here, and he was absolutely horrible in it. Yes, he was on The Wire and all that other stuff too, but I just didn't care for the guy. But of course, as the Howard Elias, he wasn't on the screen very much because he gets popped in a quick hurry, right?
Yeah.
That goes into the LAPD and police brutality, and that scene where they put the bag over his head and they put the pencil in his ear is just absolutely horrible.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. How the hell did I forget about that? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh,
how did I forget about that?
That was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. And then, of course, we get the introduction of Robertson and
Detective Moore.
No. Sorry, Detective Moore. Yeah,
Detective Moore, Detective Robinson. They might be old, but they're quick. They got quick minds, man. Those guys might not be the fastest of foot, but they got some quick ass minds. I like those guys.
Boom, right? And you see him with that chick who's the bartender.
Yeah,
all tatted up. I mean, this woman's got more tattoos than you can shake a stick at, and they just fall in love and all that other jazz. So that was hilarious. But again, the way that Chief Irving assigns him to be the head of that task force to get to the actual killer of Elias, that was such awesome TV to watch.
Yeah,
but of course we didn't cover as well Chief Irving's kid being murdered.
Oh yeah. That was
that was sick.
I felt like as a person that watched the show, I feel like his son was never into it. I feel like his son was a police officer because he felt he had to, because his dad was higher up. I just never got the vibe this was like his end all be all. Then unfortunately, of course, murdered.
Yeah. And of course that was,
that broke Chief.
Yeah. But
that's what anybody.
When you see Irving crying over his kid.
Yeah.
Whoa. Holy mother. That was definitely some awesome television.
Yeah.
Then of course you also had Detective Pierce, who's a young guy who's working under Robertson, and he's being told, get me this warrant, get me that, get me this, get me that, blah blah blah, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, that poor kid was just what the hell am I doing here?
He was trying his best, but wasn't good enough. And I want to say too, season 4, I feel like I'm always a season off, is when Maddie starts interning with Chandler as well, I believe.
No, that comes later on.
No, I think it's season 4.
No,
because she interns with her for 2 seasons before she leaves and does her own thing.
She goes in season 5. She goes to the LA DA's office.
Yeah, so season 4, she interns with Honey Chandler, because then she meets that guy that she thinks the guy likes her. He ends up stealing some documents from her. I'm 99% sure I'm right. It's season 4.
That's actually going to be season 5.
You sure? I gotta
look it up. Because there's a young attorney that has the case against her dad, and she goes out to his place and all that. That's season 5, my friend.
She finds the documents and she's torn. Yeah. Do I tell my father or keep it to myself?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's move on. Let's move on to season 5 then.
Yeah, okay. We'll do that. We'll do that. But again, of course, that whole thing started because another ex-girlfriend of Bosch's is embittered because she didn't get hired as a detective, and she blamed Bosch for it and all that other jazz, which was to me just utter BS, but okay. And they came up with this guy who's in prison already for life and all that other jazz. This is where Honey Chandler comes in, because Bosch hires Honey Chandler.
Yeah.
Now you caught on with me now?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right. So she goes through all these links and all that other jazz to find out what happened, because there's this new evidence that they've got. Bosch, of course, is out in the desert.
Yeah.
Right?
Something he does often during the series.
Yeah, like he goes out to the desert and he's pretending to be the drug guy and all that other jazz. But when he comes back, and then he has dinner with Honey Chandler afterwards. That dinner was such a vital moment in that series, because she did things on her own as the lawyer, because Harry wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And when Harry found out, he was PO'd.
Yeah.
You didn't talk to me. Well, I couldn't talk to you because you were out in the desert. Right? And they're having that drink together, and the way that they just converse with one another. Yeah, these are 2 peas in a pod.
Yeah, and that's one of those conversations and one of those scenes that just adds to, man, why do you like this show so much? Why is this show supposed to be allegedly so good? I mean, you could watch that scene and go back to season 1 and start watching the series, and you'll catch on pretty quickly why it's so good. It's just good acting and great writing.
Yeah, phenomenal acting. And I said before, Mimi Rogers, this is easily the best role I've ever seen her in. And I saw her because, again, you're younger than I am. She was married to Tom Cruise, okay, before Nicole. Yeah, she was married to Tom Cruise.
Wow.
Yeah, when Tom was very, very much a younger fella.
Must have been before Scientology.
Well, no, he was a Scientologist, apparently.
Oh, well, that probably explains it.
Yeah, Mimi got out of that thing. That was good for her. But again, the way that she carries herself is just so much fun. And
she just owns the role. She owns the role.
Yeah, she absolutely does. And it was so good to see. And of course, they investigate him and Jerry Edgar investigate the murder of a pharmacist.
Yeah.
And of course, that leads to him going out to the desert and all that jazz. And of course, Maddie is just pissed off because she can't talk to her dad. Whoa, was she a hot child? Jerry Edgar.
I mean, that's part of the growing up, and you also get to see too. One of the things I like about this show is, like I talked about, how they have multiple storylines going on. They do a really good job of balancing all the storylines.
Yeah.
You also get to see J. Edgar and what's going on with his home life and
That's
kind of
right.
what's going on there. And it wasn't just putting on the flashy suits and being a cop. You got to
Nope.
see him trying to build a relationship with his boys, and then also the relationship with his wife, or lack of relationship with his wife. And just, again, just another one of the thousands.
That was his ex-wife, because of course Jerry Edgar had messed around, and
yeah, of course,
you know,
he was a broken character, but I mean, he just played the character so well. But again, like I said,
exactly.
not beating a dead horse, just another great example of how they take you from storyline to storyline, but they balance it perfectly. So you're not like, okay, when you think you're going to say, I've had enough of X, they already moved on. They took care of it for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Like, it's so well written.
Yeah.
And to be able to take those pages from these books and make it into a decent screenplay is not an easy task.
Hell no. How many books made to movies or TV shows have we seen that suck or flop?
Oh, exactly.
That's a show in itself.
I mean, I watched something on YouTube this week, actually. Do you remember the NBC, CBS, and ABC movie of the week?
Yeah.
Right?
Used to come on Sundays, right?
Yeah, usually on Sundays, but ABC would sometimes have one on a Wednesday night, especially in the summer times and things like that, because you know. And they showed the top 10 movies of the 1970s, because that's when it started. Joey's song about Joe Capoletti, John Capoletti.
Okay. I know of the story. Played for the Bears, right?
No.
Brian's song was the Bears.
Brian's song was the Bears.
Okay.
That is the number one all-time number one TV movie in ratings and all that other jazz was Brian's song, and that is a beautiful movie. So all you young people, go out and find Brian's song on Tubi or what have you and watch that, because Billy D. Williams was the star. I mean, I heard he was Landon whatever in Star Wars.
Yeah, he was.
But for me, he was Gale Sayers. That's who he was. That's it. And James Caan plays Brian Piccolo.
Okay, maybe I'll check it out one of these days. The last historical football movie I watched was We Are Marshall, which I thought was fantastic, because I had never heard that story in my life.
But the song for Joy is about John Capoletti, who was the running back for the Penn State Nittany Lions in 1973. He won the Heisman Award, and at that ceremony, he talks about his little brother Joy, who has leukemia, and it just boom. It does you in. It tells the story of how he would come to the Penn State practices and all that other jazz. It's just beautiful stuff. But again, that is good television.
For sure.
You know, those things are really good. But now again, we get to see a lot of frustration in season 5 from Chief Irving because of his lack of communication that he has with Bosch, and about the new evidence that comes up in this case and his undercover work that he's doing. Because, I mean, Harry Bosch understands the rules, but when he doesn't want to follow them, he's not going to follow them.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know,
that's spot on.
Yeah,
he'll fill you in when he feels the need for you to be filled in. Until then, he'll take care of business.
Exactly. But this, of course, is also the season where Irving is approached that he could become the next mayor.
Yep.
And that was an interesting conversation because, of course, by this time he's with Linda Park now, his new wife. Linda Park was also in Star Trek Enterprise. Just to mention Star Trek yet again for you.
Oh, God. I don't even remember. How did those two meet?
She was a
medicine, right? Like a
no. She was a interpreter for a family from Korea, and she was at a crime scene because the elderly members of the family didn't speak English.
Okay.
Chief Irving ends up meeting her, and that's how they get together and they fall in love and all that other good stuff. Yeah,
she did a great job of keeping Chief Irving balanced.
Yeah.
That's my. If somebody was to ask me what was her main purpose of that show, I think that was it. She kept Chief Irvin balanced, and she gave him a little bit of a human side, so he wasn't such a hard ass all the time.
No, she ends up saving him because he was devastated after his kid had been killed.
Of course,
and his wife leaves him and all out of the
Yep.
jazz. So she actually saves Chief Irving. That's the way I say it.
I would agree.
Yeah. Then of course we have season 6. And we have the nuclear accident.
Oh yeah.
Right, where that doctor has to go and get the radioactive materials from his hospital, and then he gets killed and all that other jazz, right? That was a little bizarre. Because of course we're talking Los Angeles here. That could be a big mess.
Yeah, you think?
And of course they're working with the FBI on this, which leads to the territory, right?
Yep.
Much like in the earlier season when his wife was involved, the FBI says you need to know, and that's it. Da da da. Blah blah blah.
This is an LAPD case. There's some pretty good back and forth in that season between the two different departments.
And Bosch, of course, does not take kindly to the FBI.
Nope, not at all.
And the one FBI agent turns out to be a guy that needs to be gone with, and Bosch ends up killing him.
Yeah.
Or no, his own partner does. His own FBI partner shoots him.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah. And that girl again was stifled by the FBI.
Yeah.
She was put behind a desk and all this other jazz, but who's still hanging out with her? Bosch.
Yeah. Because she brings the evidence to light and they shut her down. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah. The threat to Los Angeles, of course, was something that was a big time threat and all that fun sort of stuff. But again, that season went by very quickly to me.
I would agree. I think also too, because I know for that season 6, I was wondering how much longer it's going to go on. Not that by any means I wanted it to end, but I was wondering how much do they have left.
And then we got season 7, which turned out to be the final, because instead of the 10 series, we only got 8.
Yeah.
And as soon as I see a show go down in numbers, I know they're done. Right?
Yeah.
You know,
if you watch enough television, that's a pretty good tall sign.
Yeah. Like I've also been watching a couple of shows from Australia. Blue Healers. Do you know how many episodes they were doing of this Blue Healers TV show a year?
What, 34?
Oh, try 42 on average.
Yeah, international shows go on forever unless you're watching a Latino telenovela, which I love because when the main characters die, that's a wrap, buddy.
That's a wrap. Gone. Right?
There's no kid growing up and being nope. It's not like General Hospital where it goes on forever. They got it right in the Latino community.
Most of those shows from Australia were like 26 weeks, which is what the normal course was over in America for years.
Yeah, not anymore, man. You can't afford
not
that
anymore. No, exactly right. But this show averaged 42 episodes a year, and it was on for 13 years.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. That's a commitment.
Holy moly!
Talk about pressure on the writers, Jesus.
Yeah, like it was just bizarre. But then, of course, season 7, we get the New Year's Eve murder of the Tamale girl.
Yep.
That was just, you see that little girl going to that door that's locked in that building, and you just, I want that person who locked that door. I want you for 5 minutes. That's all it's going to take.
That's a great season, man. Yeah.
Oh,
one of my favorites.
It is. It's
that's my top 3, Bosch. Top 3.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Easily. But then we also see Jerry Edgar falling apart because of the consequences of shooting Jacques Avril.
Yes.
And oh man,
that the Haitian culture and learning about that. And again, it goes back to my point. There we are again, where we're going in different ways. But if you watch the show regularly, you can walk up to anybody and go, "Oh, I know about that. I know about this," because they do a great job of balancing it. So if you just paid attention, it was easy for you to keep up what was going on with each other. But yeah, and that was a great season for him. I think they almost made him like one of the main characters. I mean, obviously the show's called Bosch. Yeah. Bosch is always going to be a main character, But in my opinion, you got more J. Edgar there than you did any other season, in my opinion.
Oh, easily. And you see his downfall, like when he's going to the bars and he's just suffering. On New Year's Eve, of course, you get the phone call from his wife. The kids are looking for you, and his girlfriend on the police force. She's at Lieutenant Billuts's party, and where's J. Edgar?
Yeah.
And you just see this guy absolutely ripped apart.
From straight-laced suit guy to just drunk. I mean, just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, he was a pure full-blown drunk, right?
Yep.
And that was tough. That was really tough to watch, because I think Jerry Edgar, he had always been there for Bosch.
Yeah, he has.
And then you see Bosch telling this guy, "You get your shit together, or you get away from me."
Yeah. Tough love.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was hardcore, because he was going to kick him off his being his partner. That was it.
I do remember that.
And then that, of course, is the season where Maddie does work with Honey Chandler.
Hey.
But she also decides to become a cop.
Yep.
And when she walks up to Bosch in that bar and she says, I need you to speak to somebody on behalf of somebody. And he goes, "Who?" She goes, "Me."
Hey.
And Bosch, of course, is like,
yeah, taking it back. He thought you were going to the lawyer stuff.
I'm telling you, had Heather lived longer, there was no way that my daughter was ever going to become a Marine. No chance in hell. No chance. But she wants to follow in her dad's footsteps. That leads us into Legacy Season 1.
Hence the name, Legacy.
Hence the name. But, of course, at the end of that Bosch series, when he gives his badge to Chief Irving, whoa.
Yeah, that's a powerful scene as well.
Oh, man. And Chief Irving says, "Who are you going to be if you don't have a badge, Harry Bosch?"
Yeah. Guess I'll find out.
And he walks away. And he doesn't pay attention to Jerry Edgar, who's going, "Bosch, Harry, talk to me."
Yeah.
He just walks away, right? Holy, this is how this ends?
That was a great ending there, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. It was a very good ending, but of course, we didn't know that Legacy was coming.
Yeah, we did. I thought it was over with.
Yeah.
Part of me was upset because I want a crappy way to end the show, but then you started hearing rumors immediately
of this Legacy series. Yeah. And of course, by season 3, Titus Welliver had become an executive producer of the show and all this other jazz as well. And Titus Welliver, do you remember him in Deadwood?
I do not. I remember him from Lost. I remember he was an FBI agent in one of the Transformers movies.
Yeah. Well, he played one of the losers in Deadwood who changed his tune and started working with Ian. He had been under Ian McShane first, but then he started working with the sheriff Tim Oliphant.
I heard that. I've heard from friends and family that show is fantastic. It's just there's so many. I mean, you know how it is, man. The watch list is so damn long. It's on there.
Exactly right. But when you want to watch, Deadwood is awesome to watch, Joe. You'll love it. You will love that series because Ian McShane, he plays a real bad SOB, baby, and boy, does he ever do it well. I mean, he is so good at that. But yeah, you'll enjoy watching Deadwood.
I'll check it out. It's on my list. Boardwalk Empire still on my list of shows to watch. I got a long list of oldies but goodies. I get in these rewatch phases where I just start rewatching shows I used to like a lot back in the day, and that puts the ones I've never seen before in the back burner. I didn't do reverse.
Did you ever watch Oz?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Because that's where Lance Reddick was first. That's where I was from.
Show was fantastic.
Yeah, obviously, right? Yeah. And who cares about all the gay stuff in that prison? I care less about any of that.
That's the real life. What is the problem?
That's prison for you, baby.
Yeah, for sure. Don't go. But, you don't like it? How about you don't go? That's worked out so far for me.
Yeah, exactly right. I don't end up there either. But again, that was excellent writing.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Boardwalk Empire. If you haven't seen that, you gotta watch that series. You need to watch Boardwalk Empire. That is, I would put Boardwalk Empire #1 for you to watch. Then I would say Deadwood.
Okay. I know my best friend has watched both of those, and he stopped talking about it. He's like, I keep on telling you about it, you don't watch it. He's like, I'm just gonna give up. Let me know when you watch it. He's been talking about that for years, those two shows. Along with what else? Another show. Jesus.
Have you watched Godfather of Harlem?
No, I do not.
Okay, so on Disney, Godfather of Harlem.
Forrest Whitaker, right?
Forrest Whitaker's best role ever.
Ooh, that's a strong statement.
Oh, it is. He is so good playing the character that he plays. Although there's some myths involved about the character because the way that the drug things happen, it's actually a different guy from New York City who did that, other than Forrest Whitaker's character. But because I'm such a big Malcolm X fan, that series really hits home.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
it's on my list.
Yeah. But again, so we saw the ending of Bosch, and then we get Bosch Legacy. Man, I was so happy to see the show come back.
You are not alone in that one.
Boom. And there we had the three big characters in Legacy. It's Maddie, it's Harry, and it's Money Chandler. When you see Money Chandler getting shot, that was awful. Absolutely horrifying.
I thought I was like, there's no way they're gonna kill her off.
Yeah. But you also noticed as she was being shot that shot went off of that coffee mug that she had. Yeah. That was the first thing I noticed.
And you also get introduced in season 1 to a new character, ends up being super important to Bosch's success as a private investigator as well, because you got to have a tech guy when you go into the private investigating business.
Stephen Chang.
Yep.
Now, do you remember the first long-haired guy that was helping Money Chandler? When
I do. Yeah. That was her guy. Yeah.
Yeah, her guy with the long hair and his beard, and Stephen Chang got the beard, and it's the same thing with the Lincoln Lawyer detective, big guy with the beard.
Yeah, he has he's getting ready to get married to the Lincoln Lawyer's secretary. Yeah,
who is of course the Lincoln Lawyer's second wife. Yep. But again, what have you, right? But again, Stephen Chang comes into the show as well. What did you think of Legacy season 1?
I liked it. I like the fact that we got a chance to see now Maddie entering the police world. You also got a chance to, again, see the character arc. I mean, I know that when I was watching Bosch, when you said the word Chandler, I thought money hungry, doesn't care about the little guy at all, just wants to get as many zeros as she can behind the settlement as possible. And you got to see that character arc, which again goes to our thing what we've been saying, the great writing. You got to see her character slowly change. And even also Harry, too. Now we're in a new environment. We're not answering to police chief anymore. We're a private investigator. What's going to be his private investigating style? I was wondering, are we going to get a chance to see some of the old characters from Bosch? Or is it a brand new universe of brand new people? I think they did a good job of balancing that and introducing it was a brand new show, really. It wasn't just stamp a new name on it, but keep it being the same, which was cool.
Yeah. And again, Harry Bosch working with Stephen Chang. You go back to season 1, his first client was the archaeologist, forensic archaeologist who had done the bone work on Anthony.
Yeah.
And of course, he goes in and steals this girl's her grandmother's wedding ring and his recipes and all this other jazz. And Harry is doing that? Okay. Because, that was weird, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. But again, it was nice to see that change. Right?
Because at that point we're trying to establish a brand new show, a brand new universe. You know that people are skeptical. Is this going to be as good as Bosch was? Type of deal. I think they did a good job of checking the boxes and answering those questions.
No, exactly right. And of course, he ends up investigating Carl Rogers, who had been a guy who had tried to kill Money Chandler in season 7, and ends up shooting Bosch's new girlfriend, who had been the judge.
Yeah.
Right. And went after Maddie as well. Well, you're in big trouble, pal, because you went after his kid.
Yep.
You're going down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But even those the Russian criminal guys, they were very good.
Yeah, the acting was tremendous for sure.
Yeah,
they definitely, you forget it's a TV show, quite honestly.
Yeah.
It was that damn good.
And then of course he also gets involved with Whitney Vance, who's an old multi-millionaire and all that other jazz. And he finds out that this guy actually has a kid. His kid was killed in Vietnam, but he does have family. And what he does to save that family from the private investigator who wanted control of Whitney Vance's company and all that was just beautiful to see.
That was a great storyline. Yeah, that was one of those ones where I wished I could have been the main storyline of the whole season. But again, like I've been saying, balance. They did a good job of keeping it all together. But I wouldn't have been mad if that was the main topic of the season.
No, exactly right. Then of course we go into season 2, and this was the one that I wrote about because what drew me to write about that was this Reddit thing that I saw online here concerning Madison Linds, who plays Maddie Bosch, and the comments that I kept hearing that she can't act and all this other stuff. I'm going, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, she owned the role. That's why I try to stay off when it comes to TV reviews and movie reviews. If you want, even if you enjoyed what you just watched, going on social media and reading the comments will just bring you down. So I'll pay attention to that.
And that just set me off. It just set me off because what are you talking about? This girl can't act. She was a teenager when she started on this show.
Not to mention, she was expected to hold that role on one of the best, most popular shows around. It wasn't like it was some brand new show nobody ever heard about. If she bombed it, not a big deal. This was a very, very, very established fan base she had to impress and come through for, and she did a great job.
Yeah, she was a typical young lady.
Yeah, I thought so.
But these guys were all going, but she can't act and all this other. Did you not see her when she goes to the FBI and actually sees her mother up on that wall?
Yep, on the wall. Yep.
That's good acting.
Yeah.
When she was held hostage and she was inside that crate.
Oh, dude, that was phenomenal. And that was just great television. When is he going to find her? When is he going to find her?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been shocked if he didn't. I just knew he would, but still, the cat and mouse and that was great. Was great.
And again, he'd already had a conflict with Maddie, with Money Chandler at the time, but she comes through in the end with the helicopter, and they get, they find her and all that other good sort of stuff. But again, as a cop herself, and she's dealing with that rape case.
Yeah.
And her partner doesn't get that she's a Bosch.
Yeah, at all. You're my boot. You're my boot. You're my boot. No, not really.
No. And because again, like her dad, every case mattered.
Yep.
Everybody matters. That is the big common theme of Bosch and Bosch Legacy is everybody matters, right? But that was some fantastic acting on Madison Linds's part.
Yeah, which is why comments saying she can't act to me aren't even worth my time responding to, because that season, the seasons even prior, she wasn't bad, but that season really proved she has acting chops. So what are you talking about?
Oh, exactly. Exactly. You know, and again, her partner finally realizes that Maddie Bosch is going to be who she is.
Yep.
And when she goes and helps Stephen Chang, you know, to find, and they get the writing that she's put down, EDW in the box.
Yeah.
Neither one of them realizes Edwards Air Force Base, but Bosch did.
Yeah.
But I knew what it was. I knew right away. EDW, well, that's Edwards.
I had no idea. But again, that goes to, I mean, like I said, just gotta, if you're watching this live stream right now, you got to start on season 1 of Bosch and just push play and let it roll, man. It's a good show.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a great show.
But again, I mean, I had been in California, so I knew it was Edwards. I knew what they were talking about, right? Then, of course, we got this last season of Bosch. I'm sorry. This season ended up sucking as far as I was concerned, because there's no way that this series needed to end like that.
I mean, not my favorite season, but I don't think it sucked. I mean, it had some, I don't know. It was, I'll put it this way, you're right, because I have more moments in this season than the other. But yeah. I don't think it was horrible. Like for me personally, I wasn't forcing myself to watch it. Like I was still locked in. I was still interested in it. I thought that some of the loose ends, they left some loose ends for sure.
Yeah, and that's the part that to me really sucks.
I think what made me not think it sucked is because they introduced you to a new character who helps Bosch try to solve the case. They're laying, and again, like when they went from Bosch to Legacy, we're laying that seed of a new show's coming, a new character, still in the Bosch universe. And instead of just dumping it on you, you get a couple episodes to kind of get used to the character, see the Bosch relationship with her, because you know Bosch is going to be on a couple episodes of that show as well to help it get off the ground. I thought it was decent. Not my favorite season, but it was decent. I think sucked is a strong word. That's just me.
Well, no, for me, it sucked because there was no final conclusion with Jerry Edgar. There has been nothing with Lieutenant Aquino either, who should be a captain by now, right? You never saw anything happen with either one of those two characters. Money Chandler's now the DA.
Yep,
that's cool. But the way that Bosch dealt with the missing family, that part was okay. But that other group of characters who were involved in the construction business and all that jazz.
Yes.
I was not involved in that. That didn't involve, it just didn't seem to be something that Bosch should be dealing with, right? Because to me, he should have been more concerned about that other family that had been killed and all that other jazz. But again, they were telling, multiple stories again.
Yeah.
Right.
And to your point, might not have been the strongest writing, but also too, you don't know what are they going to bring back.
Well, exactly, right.
You don't know. Maybe the first episode of first season of Ballard is around that construction company. Maybe it centers around that. You never know. Or they might just
that's right. Exactly right. We don't know where Ballard is going to go.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Now, Titus is already doing another series based in New York about the 1980s and the gangs in 1980 in New York.
Yeah, I read about that.
Right. So he's going to be a very busy guy.
Yeah. Well, you would kind of figure Ballard's done. If it's going to premiere in what does it say, the 28th? It premieres July 9th. So that show's already wrapped up. They're editing, you would think. Oh,
yeah. They've already done it. But again, I just didn't like the way that there was no ending to Maddie's questions about her dad either and his service. Because, of course, she met that guy that he was served with in Iraq, right? That needed to be finished. I agree with that. Maddie needs to understand that in war, shit happens.
Yeah, it's not all about, it is right and wrong, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do so you can make it home to your loved ones, man.
That's right.
I've never served, but I feel pretty confident if I could say that in front of 30 servicemen, I'm pretty sure 28 of them will agree with me. If not all 30 of them.
All 30 of them
would agree. Do what you got to do to get back on the boat, to get back on the plane, to go see your loved ones, or if you don't have loved ones, to get back to home soil.
Bingo. Hey, like I said in the room the other day when you guys put out the PTSD. I've lived with PTSD for 30 years, my friend. What I saw in Srebrenica, I don't wish on anybody. On anybody. Like I kept 35, 18, 19-year-old kids from walking into that place and seeing what I saw. Like that was just horrifying. And I don't wish that on anybody. But she needs to understand that is who made Harry.
Yeah.
You know,
at the same time, too, her character's maturing. I mean, she was a punk kid as the series started, and the temper tantrums and making stupid mistakes and peeking at people's files. And then she matures and grows up as the series goes on. But to your point, we're just assuming all this because they left us a loose end. That's
right. And that's the part that I say sucks. It's like
my sister would say, go get the books.
Yep. Which I have, and I understand where it goes and all this other jazz.
No loose ends in the books. Blah, blah, blah,
blah. No, exactly right. Your sister's correct. But again, just those loose ends did bother me. I thought
I can respect that.
I think it needed a season 4. Then I would have been okay with it. Then I would have been okay. Yeah. But again, you know. Because of the way that whole Drunkweiler character was taken care of and all that other jazz. But when Maddie met that guy that Bosch had served with, and he was telling her those stories, that to me was a disservice to Bosch.
Agreed. That's his story to tell.
That's right. It's his story.
It would have been better off not even including that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't have had the strong effort of this show sucked.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that really bothers me. It really does.
I'm trying to take a sneak peek and see if they have the cast of Ballard.
Ballard's cast?
I'm interested to see who the cast is besides Maggie Q. Maybe there's a sneak peek and you can see who they're bringing or not bringing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, but Maggie Q, of course, was also the top FBI agent on Designated Survivor.
Yep. That was that show, man. They just cut it off like it was. That show was really good, man.
But then it went over to Netflix, and they just had one season of it and it died.
Yeah, I thought Netflix. I think they got saved. It'll be great. Just keep on going. Nope. Well, the one guy who played the
chief of staff and the intelligence director afterwards.
Did he pass away?
He passed away.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He was only 40. He was only 42. So.
Yeah, I know. Another one of those ones where I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
But yeah, he's already passed away. I mean, that was horrible.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
I didn't know that. I thought he was just sick. I thought he was still fighting a good fight. I didn't realize it was, man.
Let's just see who's in the Ballard cast.
I'm looking. I don't recognize any of these names. Like any of the well, wait a minute. Ted Rawls. It might be going fresh for everybody. Yeah, I don't see anybody who's like a name. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that person. Interesting.
Courtney Taylor, John Carroll Lynch, Michael Mosley, Rebecca Field, Victoria Moreau.
Looking at the characters' names and then trying to match it up to the actor or actress. Yeah, these are all new folks to me. Is that what I think it is? Is that the guy that played No, okay, cool. That's gonna be interesting. I'm excited about that then. It's all brand new, everything. Let's go.
Yeah. But I also would have liked to have seen Harry fall in love with Orla Brady, who was that lady who had the missing family.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen.
That's what I thought.
I thought that was a no-brainer, and they just left it to your point. See, now you're making me not like the season.
Well, see, this is the whole.
You're bringing all these loose ends to light. Now I'm like, man, maybe he's right.
that Harry needs to be in love with somebody again.
He has Coltrane. He's got his jazz music. He'll be fine.
I guess.
Coltrane, bourbon, jazz. He's great.
Yeah, his choice of jazz is phenomenal.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I admit I watched episodes and have to hit the old Shazam on the phone to find out what song it was. Because I'm not a big jazz guy. I know some of it. I took it in college. There was like an introduction to the history of jazz class I took my freshman year. So I know a little bit, but there was definitely a lot of songs on there. I was like, what is this? Who's this artist?
Yeah. Like Patricia, the song that he has when Maddie comes to visit and he puts on Patricia. And she asks him what that song is about. Well, it's about him missing his daughter because he didn't get to see her that much, which you could tell meant something because of their relationship, right?
Yep.
So
everything very well calculated. Again, just
absolutely, absolutely
adds to the vibes, my friend. Adds to the vibes.
Yeah, exactly right. So, we have spent an hour and 20 minutes together, Joe.
Really? Jesus. Yeah. Okay. That's a lot. I did not feel like it at all. Talk about this show all day long.
Well, exactly, right? And this is what happened when Jeff and I did Star Trek for 2.5 hours. We did this for 2.5 hours. We just went back and forth.
That's out of control.
Seriously, though, but you got to remember how many different episodes of Star Trek there are, right?
And variations. Yeah, it makes sense.
Variations, right?
It's actually pretty good. You guys should have gone longer.
We could have gone on, like, boom. But again, in terms of Ballard being the next in line, I really do wonder, since Bosch has ended, if they get him to come on to the Lincoln Lawyer.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. I mean, it makes sense because now he's, to your point, the contract. I don't know. There's a lot of legal. I'll let the lawyers handle that. As a fan of the shows, of both shows, I would love to see it, but I can see how that could happen either as well.
Yeah. But again, that would be interesting.
For sure. That'd be good, man.
Because you find out that Harry Bosch is the half brother of Mickey Haller. And you're going, okay, these two guys don't look anything like one another.
Yeah, let's start there. Don't think Bosch is Spanish.
But you knew Mickey Haller's father wasn't Spanish. It was his mom who was Mexican, right? And then you go, and then you look at Mickey Haller's a big tall guy, and Titus is not that tall. He's only like 5'9", 5'10".
5'9", maybe 5'10" on a good day.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, but again, hey, it's TV, right?
Yeah, for sure. Just close your eyes and imagine.
Exactly right. But that would be interesting to me to see if that ever does turn out.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Ballard's going to be about. I'm interested. Can they strike gold 3 times in a row? Can you go from Bosch to Bosch Legacy to this Ballard?
But I hear Bosch only appears in 2 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, you got to help establish the boost.
Yeah,
just like another show I love. I'm not going to take it left this time so we can get up out of here. But Reacher, they have the Neely spinoff coming on.
Yeah,
Neely is not even. There's no books based off of her. That's just a character people loved in the show. They decided we're going to do a spinoff. So you got to have Reacher in the first 2 or 3 episodes to get people to watch, and then you hope Neely can stand up on her own 2 feet and people still tune in. So we got to see.
Well, I think Neely can stand on her own because again,
I do too.
She is a remarkable actress.
You're going to get at least 1 season. You know that much, but you're going to get more than 1 season is the question.
Yeah. But again, the whole thing with Reacher that they got to switch are these trips. They go on these trips. Why are you flying on a plane, Reacher? Why are you doing? No, you don't need to be going to this city. Well, it makes no sense. And Mark and I were talking about that in the room one day. What is with these trips? I don't get it.
That's one of my favorite shows.
Reacher, yeah. And The Night Agent is another good.
The Night Agent this last season, I will admit, not that good. We had to get rid of Rose. Let's get Rose up out of there. Let's get Rose up out of there, man.
How Rose found him again and all that. What? No. No, that's not going to happen, kids. No.
That's a show I felt like I was watching because I had to, because everyone was talking about it. I just was like,
Season one was very
phenomenal.
good.
Yeah, phenomenal.
But it's just the way that they had Rose show up again in the night agent's life. I didn't buy that.
Yeah, it was
like,
whack.
okay, that's his girlfriend and all that other jazz, but have them meet some other way than the way that they end up meeting again.
And the next season comes out like in the fall, right?
Yeah,
not next year. Yeah, I'm sure. Hopefully the writers listen to us, the fans, and got it right. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, you need to watch Boardwalk Empire. Oh, that is such a good show, Joe. It is such a good show. Godfather of Harlem and Deadwood.
Okay, I have 2 of the 3 on my list.
And Godfather of Harlem. Because Malcolm X means a whole bunch to me. The man who does his character of Malcolm X in Godfather of Harlem, you see the real Malcolm X, not like you saw with Denzel on the TV, on the movie screen and things like that, because this takes over longer periods of time, right?
I mean, it's an opportunity of a lifetime for that actor, so I'm sure he wanted to.
Oh yeah, he was
check it out.
He was so good as Malcolm X.
I would definitely check it out.
Yeah, it is such a good story. So yes, out there, kids, watch Godfather of Harlem, Deadwood, Boardwalk Empire. If you already haven't, I really do hope you all enjoyed our conversation here about Bosch and Bosch Legacy. See, now, if this guy can say that he enjoyed himself with me for almost an hour and a half, that's saying something.
Oh, man.
But again, here you are wearing the Evil Empire hat, which I didn't give you any grief about.
It's part of the uniform, man. Even though we got crushed today. I think it was 8-0 today. Great job.
All right, there I am. There's my Cardinals hat.
Yeah, it's been 5 years. It's time for the Cardinals to be good again.
I'm shocked we're actually in second place.
Them and the Giants, man. You can set your watch to it. They're quiet for a couple of years. Next thing you know, how'd they get in the NLCS? Yeah, I wonder.
It's the Cardinals.
Yep.
And that's what I had with George and Dan when we did the first baseball episode, which we're going to be doing in a couple of weeks here after the All-Star game. Dan and George and myself are going to talk about baseball yet again.
Cool.
Oh yeah, that's fun because we're all National League men. See, this is the whole thing. You with that American League.
Now, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
But again, it has been a pleasure to have you on the final word with me, Joe. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did, and thanks for having me on. And if I was sluggish, I apologize. I left Baltimore. I woke up at 4 a.m. on the East Coast. Plane left at 5:40, and I've been back in Colorado since I think when I landed, it was like 8:50 Mountain Time. So I'm like coffee and pride and human spirit keeping me going here today. It's only 6 o'clock here in Colorado, but I'm already like.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got the 2-hour time change. I mean, that's you could be a lot worse off than I had to travel for 15, 17 hours at a time. And
yeah, no thank you on that. No, thank you on that. If I did do that, it's got to be first class the whole way. It can't be coach or business class at least.
The Marine Corps does not give you first class options. I'm sorry.
I've heard. But no, all jokes aside, though, it was fun talking about a show that I really do truly love. And for all the people that are watching this show now live or watch it on the replay, definitely just season 1, hit play. Let us know your thoughts. Hit us up. Make sure you follow Team MBS Media everywhere.
Absolutely, right?
Yes, sir.
And please do like and subscribe. More comments that you give us and all that other jazz. That all helps our algorithm, folks. So that's why we're doing this. And we always ask to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It basically helps a small outfit like us. Okay.
True words. True story, man. Appreciate it, Greg. Thanks for having me, man. Good times.
All right. And this has been the final word for this week. Take care, everybody.